Hey, Joe, how are you doing?
Pretty good. Busy.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we are waiting on a couple of other people to show up, so feel free to just mute yourself now that we know we can hear you. Thanks.
Okay. My wife's supposed to attend, but just in case she didn't make it, I wanted to make sure we had somebody there. So,
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, I think so. I don't remember him saying he wasn't able to make it. My life has been crazy enough lately. Two different new font options for you to choose from. Well, you know, you want a fun meeting, you can stick around and see what happens with the BRB meeting. I don't know we'll see what happens. That was just that was
Welcome to the Monday, March the 6th, 2023 meeting of the Design Review Committee, Montpelier. I will let the committee members and staff introduce themselves.
Eric Gilbertson, member.
Benjamin Cheney, member.
Meredith Crandall, staff.
Stephen Everett, member.
Martha Smirsky, member. Liz
And-
is absent.
Oh, okay. At this point, we will let Meredith review the remote meeting procedures.
We have 2 applicants on remotely, and I'm not quite sure. I don't have anybody for the 3rd application yet, but I know that they know that the meeting is going on, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so, oops. I'm a little slow today. I'm out of whack. So hold on one second. Got to bring up a presentation for anybody watching via ORCA Media. Knew there was something I forgot. Okay. So I'm going to be sharing my screen. What's on the screen is mostly for anybody watching via ORCA Media, but the information that I'm going to be sharing is for everybody who's on remotely. All right. So for anyone watching tonight's design review committee meeting via ORCA Media, you can participate in tonight's meeting via the Zoom platform through either video or telephone access options. So you can either type this link into your web browser, or you can call in using this phone number and this meeting ID when prompted, and you will be able to both hear the meeting and participate. If anyone is having problems accessing the meeting, please email me at mcrandall@montpelier-vt.org. For those attending via Zoom, turning on your video is optional. For everyone attending, please keep your microphone on mute when you're not speaking. This will reduce background noise. And the Zoom chat function should only be used for troubleshooting or logistics questions. Right now, all we have on remotely is applicants. But if a member of the public does sign on, please make sure to raise your hand, either physically or using the raise hand button on your toolbar, and wait till someone has, till the chair has called on you to speak. If the public is unable to access this meeting, then I would get notice of that via email. The meeting would need to be continued to a time, place, and certain. Time and place certain. All right. Thank you very much. I'm going to hand this back over to the chair.
At this point, unless anybody has anything to add, do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
And I'll second it.
All in favor of the agenda, speak your names.
Martha?
Ben.
And Steve. Agenda is approved. We can go forward to the first application for 8 Putnam Street. Steve Ribellini, applicant Joe Booley for new signs.
Joe's looking to unmute himself. It looks like there you go.
Hi. Hello.
Hi, Joe.
How's it going?
Good.
Happy Monday.
Happy. Go ahead and describe your sign for us.
We are looking to do something pretty simple. And it's basically our logo for the cafe. It's going to be painted in white directly onto the building. So we're not going to be having to attach anything. And currently, we are not looking at lighting. That is something I've got to discuss with Steve at a later point, but we're just looking to let people know where we are.
And Joe, again, what does NOA stand for?
They're the initials of my 3 daughters, Nikita, Olivia, and Anik. And the 3 of them have all worked in the business over the years. And so for lack of coming up with something super catchy and snappy, I took the easy way out with the name.
When do you hope to start this, Joe?
The sign or the business?
The sign.
Well, as soon as we can, probably when the weather's a little bit warmer, because it's going to require us to put up some on the front of the building, we're gonna have to put up a little bit of scaffolding, nothing permanent or ridiculous, but it's gonna be easier than trying to work off of a couple of ladders.
Mhm.
So preferably nicer weather and hopefully with a little bit of sunshine. So
Okay.
When you're thinking of the lighting, depending on how easy or difficult it is to run wiring for either a canopy or a gooseneck light, you have a decent exposure to do a solar light.
yes, exactly. Yep. Yep.
And
The nice part of that building, as old as it is, the second floor, boy, it's an old granite shed, so it's all exposed beams and it's open all the way to the peak. So the wiring is going to be relatively uncomplicated, but I've said that before to my chagrin as well. So
be careful what you wish for.
exactly. I'm learning to get a little bit more cautious with what I say. So
Does anybody on the committee have any suggestion regarding lighting? Rather than have to come back, we could give him the option of putting either a hardwired gooseneck or canopy fixture or a solar fixture. Maybe a black color that sort of blends in with the rest of the facade of the building at the locations of the signs.
I would be fine with any of those.
Okay,
I have been looking at a black gooseneck, so we're on the same page with that. Nothing crazy.
okay.
And the exterior, I guess you call it the black, I'm not a pro at this. I'll call it the lampshade. It measures about 18 inches, but it's just a classic gooseneck, nothing crazy.
Yes, with a flood bulb in it that would give you a good spread, that would light your sign up pretty nicely.
Yes. Yep.
Were you thinking just one, Joe?
Um,
One on each sign.
one on each sign. Yes. Yep.
Okay. We can add that in as an option for you.
Oh, okay. That would be great. If
Think the light ought to come out fairly far from the building, just to be able to cover the signs.
Yeah. And to be able
If
to
it's too,
arch back.
too tight to the building,
It'll wash straight down.
Yeah, and the clapboards are gonna create shadows.
Okay.
So I would do a long gooseneck, a swan neck, maybe.
okay. I think what I'm looking at would come out. Yeah, I'm going to 18 to 24 inches, probably closer to 24. But
I would go with the 24 to prevent those shadows.
okay. All right. Now you're teaching me something. So I'm taking notes.
So Joe,
Yes.
what this having that recommendation in will do is mean that you don't have to come back to the design review committee to get the
Oh.
light installed, but you would still need to get a separate administrative site plan amendment permit for the light because we have to evaluate the lumens that are being emitted on the parcel. So just so you know, you still need to come back to Audra and me when you figure out the exact light fixture you want. But you wouldn't have to come back to the design review committee.
Okay. Oh, perfect. That works.
Okay.
I'm
As
not.
long as whatever you propose fits in with what they're giving you as an option, then that'll
Yeah.
all work out.
Yeah, we're keeping things pretty simple. I'm not trying to do anything too ostentatious. So
Any other comments, questions, or suggestions?
For another project, we got specifications for shades.
Yep, that's for the
Yeah.
third application.
But I'm looking here and they have ones that go out 27 inches and as much as 48 inches.
Oh, for the gooseneck?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm not looking at 48. I
No.
want
We just said a 24 to 36 inch gooseneck.
Yeah, we want to keep the building, we've gotten siding up and, we've cleaned it up pretty nice. And so I'm just looking to keep it pretty clean and simple. We even kind of kept the original color on it when we did redo the siding. So it's kind of a landmark. People don't realize what you're talking about until oh yeah, that, okay. I walk by it every day. So I want to, hopefully keep that working to my advantage.
Okay, good. I can go through the criteria for signs in the design control overlay district. Number 1, the size, location, design, color, texture, lighting, and material of all exterior signs within the design review district shall be compatible with the building and structures of the site and surrounding properties. This one's acceptable. Where appropriate, signing shall respect the original sign placement and sign bans on historic structures on the site of this building where it's located is acceptable. If a building has multiple tenants, this one would not be applicable. It is recommended that sign placement be centered over building entries. These locations are acceptable. Sign installation shall minimize damage to the character defining materials of the building, acceptable. Sign design, color, and typography shall respect historic precedents where appropriate and shall be the appropriate scale for existing and new buildings, acceptable. All in favor of the application with the option for the gooseneck light fixture, speak your names.
Eric. Ben.
Martha.
And Steve.
Great.
It is approved 4-0 in favor.
Are you Joe's wife? Any chance I can get you to sign this recommendation form since we got the option for the light? And then we should be able to issue the sign permit tomorrow, as long as Audra's in the office.
Perfect.
Awesome. And did you sign the sign-in sheet when you came in? If you can, just before you leave, if you do that, be great. Same for you too as well, if you didn't sign in. Awesome. Thank you. Fabulous.
All right.
Oh, I signed in the wrong place myself. uh,
Mhm. Okay.
Trying to think too far ahead, not paying attention to what I'm doing at the present.
Thank you. All set. Thanks, Joe.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Hey,
Bye-bye.
thank-
Bye-bye. Have a good night.
The next application is for 8 State Street. Owner Vermont Rental Solutions, applicant DJ Barry.
DJ's on. There you
Hello
go.
again.
Hello,
Hello.
go ahead and describe your sign for us.
Hi. My sign is just the lettering. I had previously met with you guys towards the end of last year, and the recommendation from the design review committee was that the words were too thick and hard to read. So I've changed the font to just a standard sans and made them much skinnier. It's just the letters or World Cow, and they're 15 inches tall, and it occupies the same space as proposed before, where the first letter of world W and the last letter of cow W, kind of land sort of middle of the windows. And they're just white lettering. They're either going to be wood or kind of like the outdoor vinyl plastic. And yeah, it's just the name of the business that I'm doing business as.
Seems as though you're showing us three options. Is there one that you prefer?
Oh, there's two. One.
Okay.
That's
There was a sans and then a sans bold. I kind of like the skinniest one.
Yep.
Just the sans.
Yep.
I think it looks clean. And I agree, with the DRC's decision earlier. I think it was a good call to make them thinner.
I certainly think I prefer the thinner, and I think I'm happy to hear that's your first choice also. I think it looks really nice.
I agree with you too, DJ. I like it too.
I don't know if you guys can see the decals in the window, but those are not going to be like that. The circle logos, they will be on the inside of the window, and they might not even be black and white, but I just wanted to point that out because it looks like in the image I resubmitted that they're on top of the window.
DJ, so on the copy that got scanned for them, I put a little note that the decals would go inside the window glass. Just so
Okay.
that it's not actually subject to zoning, but I kept it in the application package because you'd submitted it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And thank you for confirming that I caught that for them.
I did have a question about the lettering and the installation, and it was kind of last minute inspired by the previous gentleman that you guys were talking with. If I were to paint those exactly how you see it, white, directly on the wood, could that be like an alternative that maybe that, 'cause I know it's too cold now, but and I am going to find somebody to make the letters, but I was just wondering if that could be an alternative option.
Fine with me. I think it creates somewhat of a maintenance headache in the future, but that's up to you.
For painting.
Yeah, painting directly on the sign band.
Do we have any painted directly on the sign band in that area? I'm not sure.
I think
Is, I'm sorry, I was going to ask, is the sign band solid or is it several
It's-
boards together?
It's several boards, but it's got a pretty heavy coat of paint on it. So it's pretty smooth when you get up there. I would stencil it. If I were to paint it, I would stencil it and then I would hand paint it with a really high quality exterior white that I use on my murals that for 7 years now look like I painted them yesterday. It's just a thought. I mean, it's way too cold to be doing that, and I'd rather just get them made and hung up and installed. But I didn't even really consider that until that gentleman said that he was planning on painting directly. So if that was an option, it'd be nice to know if that was an option.
for what it's worth, I think it would be very nice to have it painted directly on there. I think it would actually stand out as a unique way of having your sign, and I think it would be very clean and very sophisticated to have it just be nice and flat like that myself.
We could actually give you the option to either paint it on directly or to do separate letters applied to the sign band. So if you start to paint it and it doesn't come out like you hope for, you have also the option of putting individual letters on.
That would be great if I had both, because I do like the idea of hand painting it. It's kind of what I do. It's just a matter of timing. I know in April we can get some pretty warm weather and I could do it in a day. And then to have that option to just paint over it with the same black and then do the actual letters out of wood or plastic if it didn't work out. that might be the approach that I would take.
Okay.
Um,
That way, if we get lousy weather continuing, you have the option of painting the letters inside and then applying them.
Yeah, exactly. I think that I could even have Bevins make a vinyl stencil with that exact lettering and size for me to use and paint. So there's a little different ways to do it, but I do think that painting it right on would look really nice. The old sign ripped up a little bit of the old paint. And so I did find some of that in the store to kind of fill in that black.
Awesome.
My preference is to have letters attached, but I would not fight your option of painting directly on the board. But I just want to state my preference.
Thank you.
And just as zoning administrator, I think, you know, if you did end up painting it on and then you ended up finding that there were issues maintenance wise with it, because the design review committee gave you the option either way. I think if you just came in and let us know ahead of time that you were going instead after a couple years with replacing the directly painted on letters with individual letters, I don't think we'd make you go back through design review if it was still going to look the same, because you had.
Okay, yeah, that I would make them so that they're identical and it would just cover.
Yeah. So, you know, just letting you know and giving you that heads up, because you would basically be even recreating the exact same thing, just with the other option that the design review committee gave you.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, I like both of
welcome.
those.
And the lighting is currently there. Is that correct?
It is. I honestly, there is one light switch inside the store that I don't know where it goes to, and I just haven't been down there at night, so maybe it's for those lights. I'm not sure if they're working or not, those two gooseneck lights. But I gotta look at that.
Well, the fact that the fixtures are already there, it's up to you whether you choose to, put bulbs in them and get them working again, but you don't have to apply
Yeah.
for something that's already in existence.
Yeah, no, I'd like them. I mean, I haven't it's been a while since I've been there at night, but I think it looks nice to have the lights on there.
Well, it's a nice option for you in the middle of winter when it's dark at 4:00.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't noticed yet. But tomorrow I should be able to stick around late enough to see.
Does anyone on the committee have any other questions or comments? I can go ahead and read down through the criteria for signs in the district. The size, location, design, color, texture, lighting, and material of all exterior signs within the district shall be compatible with the buildings and structures of the site and surrounding properties. That's acceptable. Where appropriate, signing shall respect the original sign placement and sign bands on historic structures. Acceptable. If a building has multiple tenants, there shall be consistency in placement and size among all signs. Acceptable. It is recommended that sign placement be centered over building entries. Acceptable. Sign installation shall minimize damage to the character defining materials on the building. Acceptable. Sign design, color, and typography shall respect historic precedents where appropriate and shall be the appropriate scale for existing and new buildings. Acceptable. Sign support structure shall be compatible with the building characteristics and must not be overly complex or dominant in and of themselves. Acceptable. And again, the option was that you have the option for applying individual painted letters to the sign band or painting lettering directly on the sign, Ben? All in favor of the application, speak your names. Eric
Ben,
Martha, I'm a yes.
and Steve, all in favor.
So DJ, I will be emailing you a copy of the recommendation form that Steve just went through. And you can, we're gonna need your signature on the last page and an applicant block, just because they did add the option in. We want to make sure that we've got confirmation that you agree with that option. And then once we get that back from you, and you can bring it into the office, or you can just scan that signed page and email it back. Then we'll be able to go forward with processing the permit and getting that issued.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for coming back, and good luck with your project and your opening.
Thank you.
We can go forward with the next applicant for 707 Stonecutters Way. Owner FHS Holdings, applicant RK Miles.
So one or both of you want to come up to the microphone so that at this point it's Orca Media can hear who's ever's talking. And feel free to adjust the microphone so it's as close to you as possible. It also means that our recording secretary can hear you on the recording afterwards.
Go ahead and describe your application for us.
Good evening. I'm Steve Connor, and with Connor Contracting, and RK Miles has hired us to do the work associated with the new entry element that you see on the drawings, as well as some much needed facade improvements. And I'm joined by Jeff Notek, who's the manager in Montpelier. And just wanted to talk briefly about the fact that they want to do these improvements to the store. And they're using it as a way to showcase some of the products that they sell, whether it's Marvin gliding windows or a whole bunch of different siding elements. Also looking to improve handicapped accessibility into the store through the covered entry that you see. And also trying to take some of the rainwater from the upper roof and have that fall in behind the parapet and to travel along the dotted line that you see on the drawing. That will then eventually make its way to the river end of the building. I think Dan has worked with Kyle and Jeff to send over a number of different products, which they identified for use, and happy to answer any questions that you guys might have.
And I can also pull things up on the screen if anybody needs that. They have printouts of everything, and I printed out the new stuff I got today, so they have copies of that too.
Appreciate that. And I just wanted to make sure there was one other thing that Dan had submitted late to you, which was the use of natural cedar clapboards in behind the railing that you see in the picture, just again to try and have some wood elements to show customers.
Yeah, so that's, I can put that up on the screen. That was one of the things I gave you guys today in those two new ones, but I can also, there we go. So instead of, because I think in the plans, it was, trying to remember if there was something else in the plans for
Think it
that
was
area.
New siding to be identified or to be determined. I
Yep.
think.
Yep.
That was the one that was not identified when we threw it in.
and regarding the railings as you enter, I feel like you're telling us you're proposing this aluminum cable rail infill panel. And the drawing shows a vertical baluster style something. And I'm just checking in to make sure.
So that's a great question. I think the railing that was submitted, the aluminum rail with cable infill along that alongside and underneath the porch is one element. And I don't think we've probably identified the handrail itself, which will come up the ramp, which is intended to be a galvanized handrail, which shows on the overhead plan, the partial floor plan, as it's called out.
Yep.
So that's something that Department of Public Safety will want. So that's outboard of all that.
Yep.
It's a simple double rail. So thanks for that question.
It's a board and batten, real board and batten, or is it T111?
Jeff, can you speak to that?
Yes, we were looking at the Hardy board back side. It's an actual board.
Okay.
Yes.
Wait. Hardy, I think of as a concrete product, but it's
That is, we were looking at Hardy or the LP, the smart side.
Yep.
They both offer the same thing, it's a similar product, or same design, different product, cement for one.
Both in a slate blue.
Both in the slate blue for above the.
Yes.
Or the roof band.
This is going under the canopy.
It's going around the canopy, actually, correct?
Yes.
So it's above the doorway element. Behind the RK Miles sign that's shown with lighting, and around the left and right sides.
You're not staying with a wood product. You want to use this Hardy board.
The LP is what we were looking towards, I'm sorry.
Same thing. It's cement board.
No, LP is a wood product.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I'm not familiar with the names, so.
Yep, the LP smart side is it's a wood product. And they make all sorts of siding, but they do the board bat is a board.
If I'm understanding you correctly, this is just for the area underneath these overheads. It's not for the entire building. Is that correct?
Correct. That is the board and batten would be the strip of roof under the windows.
Yep.
you're proposing a major siding change.
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what, yeah,
yes, it's what's on there is
Very tired.
very bad. It's cracked. It has actually it's still sun faded, so you can see how the lumber company.
Yeah.
Yes, it hasn't been touched in a long, long time.
And so all of this is switching to vertical board and batten. You're going to keep this side horizontal, but new.
The board and batten is big, see what the sign RK Miles.
Mhm.
So that portion projects out. That's the only portion that would be the board and batten, right where the hand is now.
Okay.
so the lines don't seem to quite match up. I think this is vertical metal siding that has a little line that goes to point here. And this says new LP smart side siding here.
Stuff like.
Maybe you sent an updated one with Dan and I just didn't realize that one was updated.
New vertical metal. Yeah.
So hold on, let me go back to my email. I didn't realize it was corrected.
I asked him.
Okay. Okay, so hold on. Let me go back to Dan.
I sent.
Oh, the board and batten had five.
Oh, I didn't realize it was a new plan with
That's
new
confusing.
codes. All right, so if you guys look up on the screen. That's the
That's it.
existing.
Yeah, it's really
Hold
well.
on.
Are you going to keep DJ Barry's cow on the outside of?
That's on, yep, that's actually on the back of our,
Yeah.
one of our sheds. Yes.
Yeah, just
This still says,
because we just had that. That's cool.
still says vertical metal siding for this bit. So I don't think I got the corrected one.
Is that cow gonna stay?
The cow's gonna stay.
Okay, I'm about to sign off, but I did want to say
Okay.
hello to Steve Connor because he's a good family friend of mine.
DJ, we're not gonna touch the cow.
Okay, thank you. But you know, let's talk. Take care.
All right.
Hello to the family.
So yeah, I don't have an updated one. So the vertical is going to be board and batten,
That's correct.
not vertical metal.
That's correct.
Okay.
And where the metal is going, what's there now?
Vinyl, very old vinyl siding. I think you can see it. I don't know, Meredith, if you could, pull up the photos that we included. Yeah, and another one around the corner too, which is
Which one's?
equally tired.
Yeah.
So that just gets stripped off and you replace it with the.
And as part of the construction, which will give our application to the DRB, in order to do this project, we'll have to put in a temporary entrance to the store to the left, just on a temporary basis to get customers safely in and out. So it's be a bit of work on that also, but
The siding on this end, that will be horizontal. Is that correct?
Jeff, is that the intent to put this siding? Is that going to turn the corner?
Everything visible from the road, from stone cutters, will be the metal, vertical siding.
Okay.
Coming all the way around. On the main building facing the parking lot, the main building is clapboard facing into the parking lot. As well as under the roof is also clapboard. That one will just be, the color will match the metal on the front of the building.
So if we're looking at that elevation, what Jeff is saying, we're looking at that elevation, there's a 4 wide window there on the bottom left.
Yep.
Yes.
Everything to the left of that vertical corner board going out to the road is going to be the vertical metal siding. So,
Yes.
and turning the corner,
Okay,
facing
so-
stone
So
cutters.
both sections of the north elevation, it's all
Yes.
sort of vertical.
Yes.
Correct.
And around the corner, everything becomes horizontal flatbeds.
Once it gets to the, past the offices and to the main building.
Okay.
But you'll see this little bit of horizontal here that's in the lower part, sort of
Correct.
peeking around.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, these are vertical and then. Yep. And this little strip of the roof will be vertical, right?
Board and batten. Yep.
Yep.
And there's no elevations of the riverside. Is there anything changing on that side?
No,
That
there
same
really isn't.
staircase is going to be there, and
There really isn't. We did a couple of, stairway, exit stair improvements on that old stairway that's there, but mostly just some code improvements to, be able to get people safely off the second floor, working with Meredith and with, Michelle.
Yep.
So.
Again, what color do you expect the exterior to be, the siding?
It's going to be, charcoal gray. A darker gray than what it currently is. More along the lines of, like the, National Clothesman or Claire.
Okay.
Claire, about that same, similar to
Yeah,
that
yeah.
color there.
And then again, the proposed color for the vertical board and batten. Above the vestibule goes to us.
Slate
Light
blue.
blue.
Yep.
Yes.
And
Like,
then
the
again,
Allen one, or the, K miles that wraps around.
okay,
And then it would have signage, of course, facing the parking lot inside, which would also be the RK miles blue. To match the signs currently on the building.
any committee members have any other comments, questions, or suggestions?
I don't.
Okay, then I can go. Were there any changes that you noted that from the original application, or everything is
Yeah, it's the one note about the board and batten being on the front, being there instead of vertical metal. That was one that was really
Okay,
different. And I have these other items in the file. I got materials.
okay.
I just wanted to add one other thing, which is I think the materials that Dan sent over might have shown a dark bronze front door entry element. And I'm just wanted to point out that since RK Miles has talked about ebony window frames, we're probably going to go with a black door frame as well. So
Okay, yep, that would
Okay.
match.
yeah,
That would
just so it matches, I just wanted to point that out.
Probably goes better with the gray and blue.
Correct. Yeah.
Thank you.
Just to change. Don't need to fill it in on the.
No, it'll be done.
Just go.
No, you don't change it there. It'll be in the minutes.
Okay.
And regarding the cow, I can't speak for Mr. Miles on the cow, but I'll leave that for a later date. So.
Yeah.
I was gonna state it the best of my knowledge.
Yes.
It's not a sign, it's public art. That's between you guys and DJ.
I can read down through the criteria for this project. Exterior design and materials of new construction or alterations of existing buildings shall be consistent and compatible with the characteristics of the existing building or other properties in the district. Additions and alterations to non-historic and non-contributing structures shall respect and be compatible with the existing patterns and setbacks found in adjacent buildings. New additions on non-historic and non-contributing structures that overshadow or diminish the historic character of adjacent contributing structures are prohibited. This application is acceptable. And my pen just ran out of ink. Thank you. Existing buildings shall be recognized as a physical record of their time, place, and use. Acceptable. Location and appearance of all utilities, mechanical equipment, trash storage, and fencing shall be cited to minimize adverse visual impact or adequately and appropriately screened from public view. It's acceptable here. Additions to buildings called for by public safety, accessibility, and fire code shall be designed to maintain the character of the construction materials and features to the maximum extent feasible, acceptable.
On there that didn't have lighting, we did add in the light fixture and the stuff that I added into your packets today. So just to keep an eye out for that not applicable. If there was like, that's usually on the sign, but just keep your,
Okay.
just double check.
Yeah.
Don't just trust my not applicable.
The height of building additions shall not overwhelm the primary facade and must consider varied heights of existing buildings and adjacent buildings. And it's not a new building, but the existing building is acceptable. Proportion, compatibility of relationship between width and height of facades, as well as relationship of width to height of windows and doors acceptable. Rhythm, visual patterns established by the alterations of solid walls and openings, windows and doors, and the facade of a building shall create a rhythm acceptable. Roof shape and equipment. Consider similarity or compatibility with roof shapes in intermediate area. Conceal rooftop equipment and features on flat roofs from eye level, from adjacent public rights of way, and from the ground level of any adjacent properties. Acceptable. Architectural features, including but not limited to cornices, windows, shutters, fan lights, entablature, trim, and other forms of molding or character defining detailing prevailing on the existing building, shall be considered in the alteration. Acceptable. Roof drainage systems shall not hide or obscure architectural character defining features and shall run adjacent to building corners when possible. Acceptable. Outdoor lighting. Structural design of outdoor lighting fixtures shall be compatible with the architectural design and function of the building and compatible with the neighborhood. Acceptable. And actually, that was all. All in favor of the application, speak your names. Sure.
Ben,
Martha, I mean, yes.
And Steve says yes. So vote is 4-0 in favor. Signed in the right place.
Since you're here, when you sign that. Down at the bottom. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you for coming.
Have a good night.
Good luck with your project.
Thank you.
Hope the weather's kind to you during your construction.
Thanks for that wish. We share the same wish.
So we'll try and get this permit out in the mail tomorrow or the next day at the
Great.
latest. Right.
Fantastic. What's the next DRB date? Meredith, do you know that off the top?
So, oh goodness, I don't know off the top of my head what the next deadline is. Can you email me?
Sure, Yep.
Because
we'll
so
do.
you're tweaking, you think you might actually have to go to the DRB for the
Do we?
upper space? Well, I didn't, if you only stick with the one additional parking space, that was administrative.
That was
didn't-
okay.
Yeah,
So
that
we're
would
good to go
to
then.
go to DRB, that's through me.
Okay. We'll come see you then. We'll talk.
Okay,
Excellent.
awesome.
Okay.
Thank you again.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too. Oh, that pen's still dead, right? You give me back
Yes.
my pen. Don't give me back my pen. Ooh, we can approve these minutes for December 5th.
Has everybody had a chance to look at the December 5th minutes?
Eric just moved.
I'll second. And speaker names for final approval.
Ben.
Martha. Yay.
Good.
We did it.
And then it says 12:21.
Yeah, we didn't,
I'm sorry, 2.
we have 221. We didn't get those until yesterday, so I haven't even had a chance to scan through them. That wasn't in the office till like 2:30, so.
I just want you guys to know that I lose. I thought we weren't going to get these done actually until June.
Well, good. I'm glad you were able to get it together.
We kept going back and forth and back and forth.
Does any,
feels like June already.
Winter and Mother Nature got together and say, oh shit, we forgot Vermont.
Awesome.
does anybody have anything else? Otherwise, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
All in favor of adjournment, speak your names.
Martha?
Ben.
Steve, meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, guys.